All right, this is our After Effects lesson 2 in compositing. And in the last lesson, we added our model, our 3D model of the mecha mixed in with our background. And now we're going to add some effects, some laser beams and lightning and explosions to make this whole scene look kind of like a war zone. So let's kind of look at adding some laser beams. So let's go up into our effects and presets, which is found under Window, Effects and Presets. And over here, under the Finder, let's go ahead and we'll type in Beam. And this is the one we want, Generate, and it's Beam. So now I'm going to drag that beam onto a solid. And so first thing I want to do is I want to create the solid. So let's do a right-click, New, Solid. And I'm going to rename it Beam. Hit OK. And then once I drag my beam onto the solid, then it'll give me these little sort of like little indicators of how it's going to control the beam. And you can see the beam right here in the middle. And so I'm going to go ahead and, this is the beginning one. I'm going to put that maybe on the front of this gun, like right about there. I'm going to go ahead and scroll it back, zoom back. I'm going to maybe move this one over here. I'm going to try to make it look like it's going in the direction that it's shooting, that the gun is shooting. Maybe a little bit more like that. Okay, let me go down here, and I don't want to see all this. I don't need all that. So what I need to do is I need to click off of these other controls, and I want that is the blue one in the middle, and then you can see it gets rid of all the other stuff that I don't need. And I'm ready to go work on my beam. And so let's open up our beam effect, and it's going to be under Effects and then Beam. And so the first thing I want to look at is the starting point and the ending point, which we just moved. And so this is probably about where I want to start it. So I got my so this will be my starting point right here. If I move the numbers around, you can see it move the crosshairs moving around. And then on the ending point, right over here, you can see that crosshair, and you can see how it bends the laser. So let's go ahead and give those keyframes right there. And let's go ahead and move it, several frames. And then we'll kind of go ahead and move it again. Make sure it's staying with that same gun. And make sure it's kind of going in that same direction that the gun's pointing. Okay, see how I'm kind of keeping it in alignment there. Okay. And let's go ahead and we want to start the length at where the starting point is, and we're going to bring that time to 0. Although before I do that, let me move it kind of a little bit where I can see it, because this is the point where I might want to change the thickness, the starting thickness. Maybe I want the starting thickness to be a little thinner than ending thickness. Probably want that a little bit larger. I have to play around with it a little bit. Okay. And now that I have the beam pretty closer to the way I want it, now I can kind of animate it. So like I said, I want that laser to start down here before it comes out. So let's go ahead and on the time indicator where it has 33, let's change that to 0, because once you change it to 0, you can see it disappears. So let's give that a keyframe, and we'll move this out to our ending point, and then we're going to change our time from 0 to 100%. Let's kind of scroll through there, and voila, yeah, we got our laser beam. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and add another one. We'll move our free frames. Okay. So how about right about there? Maybe we'll add it to maybe one of the other gun turrets. How about this one this time? Okay, and I went ahead and moved my crosshairs right to where I want them. Now the tricky part is I want to make sure my time is still at 100%, which means that laser is over here. But I'm going to move that one frame to the left because I want to bring that frame back. I want to bring that laser back here, but I don't want to see it. Here, I'll give you a few frames. So let's move it back a few. Now if I move it back to 0 now, you can see it animates backwards. I don't want that. So if I move this frame where it's at 100% right next to the frame that's at where it starts at 0, then you notice when I scroll through it, you don't see it. You can kind of see it. It kind of opens up right there. If you look close, if you can kind of see it. See, but it's really quick. And so that's our starting point. So let's go ahead and drag it over a few frames. Let's move our crosshairs to where we want them first. And once again, I'm trying to get it in kind of going in that direction that the gun is pointing. Okay, and now I can move my time to 100%. Let's take a quick look at that. Looks good except for that beginning part where I've got that glow showing right there. So I got to get rid of that. So I am at 0. Maybe we should move it one frame over and try it at 100% and see if that works. There we go. So there we have a laser. See, I wanted to add, what else do I want to add to this? Changing the color. Let's see if we want to change the color of the beam. Let's say we might want to make it green. So we're just going to move our control over here to the green. You know what? Is it the inside? Let's make the inside yellow. And maybe make the outside green. There we go. That way you can kind of really see it. Yeah, there we go. All right, now let's, maybe one more addition. Let's add an effect to our mecha and see if we want to change its color also. So let me close out my beam. And let's go ahead and change the color of our mecha. So let's go ahead and search for hue, H-U-E, hue. We got hue saturation. Now I'm going to drag that into my Mecha 1. And as I go through my master hue, and you watch, and you kind of look at the color, you can kind of see how it changes. So let's see, I got a green laser. I'm gonna make him purple. I suppose I could make it, knock the saturation down to where it looks maybe a little more realistic, but we'll just make him pop out really purplish, hideous color looking. Really make these stand out on this. There we go. So now we got our purple mecha with our green laser beams. And I think on the next one I'm going to add lightning. I think maybe I'll make the lightning maybe kind of orangey to kind of create that triad color wheel. So that's the end of this lesson.